Today on News on the Go, we are at GMB Aspendal, where it is that the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Rural Development, Professor Obed Jiri, has conducted a tour at the GMB facility, of course, for the Strategic Grain Reserve. And of course, I'm now joined by the Permanent Secretary. Welcome, Permanent Secretary. Good morning. How are you two today?
Well, thank you and good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us and for talking to ZTN News. Now, Professor, I want to understand the purpose of your tour here at GMB Aspendal Depot.
So we are here to witness the loading and dispatch of grain to Mozambique and to Malawi. As you know that there was a disaster in Mozambique and the disaster as well in Malawi, where a lot of people were displaced and they are running short of food. His Excellency the President, Comrade Idi Mnangagwa, with his benevolence, then donated this assistance, 1,000 metric tons of grain to Mozambique, 1,000 metric tons of grain to Malawi, to assist the peoples of those two countries. So we are here to really witness that as we load and dispatch to the two countries.
Right. So you talk about 1,000 metric tons of grain that we are donating, of course, to the two countries. But we would want to understand what is the current status of our strategic grain reserves for the nation as it stands.
So we are currently sitting on stocks of over 187,000 metric tons of grains. Of that, 113,000 metric tons is our wheat grain that we carried over from the last seasons. And we also have maize, almost 40,000 tons that we are sitting in our stocks. So we are sitting pretty at the moment in terms of our strategic grain reserve. Of course, we do have traditional grains which are also in our stocks, and all that grain is available for the purpose of our strategic grain reserve for the President.
Right. Professor, I would want you to talk and speak to, I know that there are some areas that have a deficit and some areas that have got a surplus in as far as grain is concerned. Has there been any measures to maybe replenish those who are in deficit from areas that recorded surpluses?
So working with the Department of Social Welfare, we always identify areas in need. So, for example, the Doma people in Binga, they ran short and they were in desperate need of food. We have already delivered food to those people. But various other areas across the country during this lean season, we see that when we once identified, we work together with the Department of Social Welfare to ensure that grain is delivered to those areas in need. But we do have 89 depots, GMB depots across the country. All those have, some quantity of grain, and wherever there is a need, we take from the nearest GMB depot. GMB itself is, has capacity, logistical capacity to move grain from depot to depot, the inter-depot movement. If it's a Mashonaland region, we can easily use the train power, the railway train power that we have, 5 locomotives that they own, and we also have trucks. Remember, these yellow trucks, they were given to GMB by His Excellency late last year. And so in terms of capacity, logistical capacity to move, GMB is adequately capacitated to move grain to where it's required.
Right, and of course, the last question that I'm going to ask you, maybe just for the purpose of clarification. So we're donating to Malawi, we're donating to Mozambique, and you have, of course, alluded to me information about the current state of our strategic grain reserves. So at this particular point, can we say the nation is food secure?
Certainly, at the moment, no one is dying of hunger. Those small pockets where food is required, we can adequately supply them. We have received a request from Department of Social Welfare. Their estimation for January, February, March is about 27,000 metric tons in the West Coast scenario. Of course, we have already moved into February now. The only grain we have moved is to Binga, which is a far cry from the 27,000 metric tons that they need. We are also moving into the later half of our summer season, where now, when these rains come as forecasted by the end of this week, we will be able to harvest again. So sitting on these stocks that we have and the harvesting that's about to happen, we are assured that the nation will continue to be food secure.
Thank you so much, Professor, for talking to ZT News.
Well, thank you so much and good day.
Thank you. Now, that was Professor Obed Jiri, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Rural Development, giving us the latest update on the strategic grain reserves that are obtaining right here in Aspendale, GMB. Now, for a more comprehensive story on this development, please make sure that you tune in for News Plus today at 7 p.m. Of course, Central African time, and make sure that you follow our pages, our social media pages, for these and other updates. That's Zim Papers TV Network on Facebook and ZTN Prime across all other social media platforms. That's your formerly Twitter. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, we are on Threads, as well as TikTok. From myself, Tafaras Wechiwe, it's bye for now.